like you lost another one.
Welcome back to the Father's Advocate podcast. I am your Father's Advocate, Attorney Ella Hughes. Today I have my favorite client. Of all time, I have my favorite client. I'm not going to tell you his name because I want him to tell you, but let me just tell you a little bit of his story. First and foremost, he is extremely hilarious and very funny. I am trying to convince him to do some stand-up. I don't know if he will do this, but if he does, check back here at the Father's Advocate and I will tell you so you have front row tickets. But in addition to this client came to me. His situation was a pretty bad, and I'll let him tell you that. But what's really great about him as a client is because, and even just as a person, is because he doesn't agree with anything I say. We do not agree. We bump heads. But despite the fact that we bump heads, he trusted me. And that is a privilege. That is an honor. And it's my privilege that he trusted me, even though he didn't agree with me at all. And the outcome, I believe, is awesome. And I'll let him tell you that. And man, I'm telling you, we fought.
Yeah, we fought hard.
Sometimes we fought. I have to say this because there was one time, at least 4 times, but at least one time, he actually called me. It was on a Friday evening after hours. It was very close after hours, but you were in a very bad place. And I believe I had to talk to you and coach you to keep you from going over the edge. Right. And we talked about over an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And we did that a lot. And again, what makes it a privilege for me is that one, you trusted me. Yeah. You listened to me. And what most clients don't do is that you use me as a counselor, as a therapist. Most clients, what they do is they just say, hey, you the attorney, do the work. What you did, you said, you're my attorney and you're my counselor. I don't know how to do this. I want to give up. There were many times I know you wanted to give up. And I remember there were some times also you were like, you know what? I can't do this. But we will do that many times. So anyway, without further ado, I introduce you guys to my favorite client. Oh, he's my favorite. And you guys are going to love him too. His name is Mr. Eddrick Johnson. I want to give a round of applause.
Ooh, what's going on?
It's my favorite. Okay. So what I want to do is just ask a few questions and I want you to tell your story. So the first questions I have for you is, what was going on in your life that made you seek out an attorney?
Well, I mean, what was going on in my life, man, you know, I mean, it kind of, you know what I'm saying, what a lot of guys go through. You know what I'm saying? I was young, running around, you know, having fun, living my best life in the street, you know what I'm saying? I guess I was sort of aggravating a few people, or, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But, you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, doing all that, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I could, you know, live my life how I wanted to, my best life, and still be a part of my child's life. You know what I'm saying? Some people, you know, tend to live their life and forget about what's important. And, you know, that was never me. You know, I stayed, you know, tried to be active in my kid's life. And, you know, that was the main focus for me.
Okay. And then I understand being with your child was important, but was it that you couldn't be with your child? And if so, why were you unable to be with your child?
At some points, you know, it was I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. At some point, you know what I'm saying, I would be denied access to visitation and you know, I mean, just phone conversations were limited, you know what I'm saying? I don't have a specific reason as to why, but I mean, you know, that was the case. I mean, I honestly don't know why, you know, why I was denied access to my daughter. But I can say, you know what I'm saying, I tried. And, you know, I think maybe, you know, the other half was emotional. Maybe bitter. I don't know. I can't speak for him. You know what I'm saying? But uh when we ended, you know what I'm saying, I chose to end it. And that was that. And I mean, maybe we ended wrong. Maybe I did something that was unforgivable. You know what I'm saying? And you know, in the result of it, those were the consequences.
So I know you don't know the reason, but can you tell us what were you experiencing when you were unable to visit with your daughter?
I mean, I was it had came to a point where a lot of times when I called, I was blocked. A lot of times when I wanted to, you know, spend time with her, I wasn't able to. For those reasons, you know what I'm saying?
Were there I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I mean, you know, times were, and then even throughout those times, I was able to, like when I was able to visit her, you know what I'm saying? It'll go on. I may be able to visit her for let's say this month is January. I'll be able to visit her for January and then come back and can't visit her in February. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Then she might let me visit her in March. But it kind of became like I was only needed as a babysitter at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Were there times when you did visit with your daughter that mom would interrupt your visit and say, I need her to come home now, or you can't have her for this many days, you need to bring her home early?
Yeah, it was times like that, and I can even recall when we were going through our process, she wanted me to only get her every other weekend. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like as a father and being a stand-up guy, you know, those ain't, you know what I'm saying, every other weekend is like, what, 4, 5, 6 days out the month, you get to see your child that you created. And those ones, you know, I wasn't gonna operate up on that.
How long were you going through this problem before you hired an attorney?
Maybe 2 years.
And
maybe 2 years.
So your daughter was 2 years old when you were going through this, and before you hired a lawyer?
Yeah. Yeah, she was probably about 2 years old because she's 6 now. Yeah.
So, what prompted you to go and get a lawyer?
I mean, just you know, well, I can recall a time where she said, go, you know, I was like, let me see my kid or whatever, and she was like, you're not gonna be able to see her. If you want to see her, then do something about it. Take me to court. And you know, I was like, well, you know, I take you to court. You know what I'm saying? And when I did, you know what I'm saying, I thank God that I did, you know. So
why is it important, or why was it important that you actually have a relationship with your child?
Honestly, because I when I was a kid, everybody has a good story about my biological father. Everybody got good things to say, but I never got to experience the good things of my, you know what I'm saying, my biological father. And you know, I never want to be absent and let my daughter experience what I experienced. And so, I made up in my mind when I did have a kid that I wanted to be all that I can be as a father. You know what I'm saying? And not let her lack in any area. And and I can recall times when, my mom was my dad, you know what I'm saying? And I can recall times where, when we get to go on field trips and stuff at school, and some of the kids have to stay back at school because, they didn't have the funds, or, and I never wanted my kid to experience that. I don't know if that was because of the lack of a father, but it was because of the lack of something, because they didn't have the funds to provide for their kid. You know what I'm saying? And I never wanted, anything my kid, wants in this life that I'm able to provide, I want to be able to provide. You know what I'm saying? I think all kids need their mother and their fathers, but little girls especially, I think they need their father.
Why?
Just because, I've been out here, I done ran games before, you know what I'm saying? I done ran games, you know what I'm saying, on people's daughters, and it's easy to get tricked. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get tricked. And I just think, with the right guidance, you know what I'm saying, that the little girl with the right guidance, I want to take her on her first date. You know what I'm saying? I want to show her what a man is supposed to be. By my example, when she's here with me and my wife, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I remember you told me when we talked, you said that your daughter is your best friend. Can you explain to me what that means?
I mean, she's my best friend. Exactly what it is. I mean, we vibe together. We got little handshakes. We talk. She I think she picked up on the silly side like me. She liked to crack jokes, and you know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, you know what I'm saying, without her, I'm nothing. You know what I'm saying? And something just like a best friend, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is who I get to come home and see smiling. Her being happy makes me happy.
Okay. So when you hired a lawyer, and we just say that you hired my office, before you hired me as your attorney, had you spoken to any other attorneys, or had hired another attorney before you?
No. I what I did, you know what I'm saying, because me coming from the background I came from, being from where I was from, you know what I'm saying, hiring an attorney about, your kids was unheard of. Like, ain't nobody, back in the hood, people like, hey, man, no need of doing that, you know what I'm saying? And I don't seen a lot of guys give up. I'm just thankful that I didn't give up. But, I heard about, you, and I heard some good stuff, and I was like, man, I got to see this lady, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it was, you know what I'm saying?
Were you a little hesitant about hiring a female to represent your rights?
No, I knew I needed to hire a female. I don't feel like a male could have, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like the judge would have seen what he saw if a male presented it. You see what I'm saying?
I actually don't. Can you explain that?
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because our relationship, you know what I'm saying, it was more, it became more than just my attorney. It was like, man, I need to call me I need to talk. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like I could have, called the dude and been like, hey, and he would have, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he just would have been like, man, you my client. What, call me 8 to 5. I don't think a man could have just, went in there and did what you was able to do, for the simple fact it's a man. I don't know. It's unexplainable, but
Let me ask, do you think because I'm a female, if I'm advocating for you, that possibly means that we must be right and that mom was wrong?
No, I don't think that, because it could have been any female that I could have paid that could have went and advocated.
Mm-hmm.
I think once you got to know my story and understand what I was going through, I honestly think you grew some kind of, heart for my situation. Like, man, this man really is trying, you know what I'm saying? And if he trying.
I tell you, man, listen, and for you guys that are listening, Mr. Johnson, because you have such a beautiful spirit, and because you listen to me, we didn't agree on a whole lot of stuff. There were many times I want to do your voice the way I see your voice. You're like, Mahil, I'm about to take this lady, Mahil. I'm about to take this lady, Mahil. And I remember there were times I was like, Mr. Johnson, I need you to sit back, take a deep breath. We're gonna talk this thing through. Do you remember those? And
I remember a lot of situations like that, man. I've had countless of nights where, I cried about my situation, and, I felt like it was going, you know what I'm saying? It became a emotional roller coaster about my daughter, you know what I'm saying? And, all I wanted to do was be a part of my daughter's life. And I thank God it happened, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it was for me, man. Like, I can recall my homeboy, hey, man, man, I don't know what you talking about, man. I don't know what, that ain't gonna happen. And I'm like, I'm putting my trust in my situation. And I did. I called you, and you know what I say.
So I know you kind of alluded to this, but were your family and friends saying there's no way you're gonna be able to get visitation or custody of your daughter or anything like that?
Mainly my friend. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my family, they never actually said it. But I'm sure a lot of people thought I was crazy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people probably like, man, you got some nerve, you know what I'm saying? Because when I first called you, I was halfway in, I was halfway out when I first called you. You know what I'm saying? I was, and everybody was like, man, I think my family was more, that would be the right thing to do. But, I don't think it'll happen, you know what I'm saying? And, man, but my homeboy was like, no, but, and they all on child support. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't take care of their children, which is sad. But, you know what I'm saying? I made it my business to handle my business. And,
So when you said that it was, you were halfway in and halfway out, what do you mean?
I mean, just, with my relationship status, you know what I'm saying? Me and my wife, we were just dating. We weren't official. Running around in the street, doing my own thing, doing what women say men do.
Okay. I'm gonna leave that alone, but
yeah.
Did it. But in terms of your daughter, you say halfway in, halfway out. Was that like, I want to do it, but I'm not sure I want to do it, or?
As far as my daughter, it had became and I think a lot of guys go through this where it becomes like, oh, if you ain't alright, so you ain't gonna let me see her. Well, I ain't buying no diaper. It gets to that. You know what I'm saying? And I think I understand those guys who say, forget it, I deal with it later. You know what I'm saying? Because it becomes such of a headache. There's no, let me be clear, because there's no headache too big. There's no headache too big for, you know what I'm saying, for you to deal with your kid. But I just think, like, man, if I didn't have the mindset that I had about my situation, I would have gave up. What I'm saying?
What made you fight, even though you wanted to give up? What made you fight and not give up?
I mean, I fought because I didn't want my child to go through what I went through as a kid. I fought because I knew that my daughter needed her dad. You know what I'm saying? I fought because fighting was the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I put up a good fight, and I won my fight.
And what will you say to those dads who want to give up?
Man, don't give up on what you create. You know what I'm saying? Don't give up on what you created. If you made a child in this world, I mean, give it. You know what I'm saying? It's like your project or your car that you love the most. And the energy that you put in there, put it into your child. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, man, the kid that has to be here, the kid is innocent. And if I can put as much love into something that I love, then do it for the things that really matter. And those are your kids, man. You know what I'm saying? And I love my kids. I really do love my kids.
Hey fathers, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of our Speaking with Fathers series. I also hope you were inspired and you learned something new and helpful. As always, you're not in this alone. Don't stop fighting. Your children do need you. Please join us next Sunday at 7:00 p.m. for part 2 with Eddrick Johnson's wherever you listen to podcasts or on our YouTube channel next Monday. If you enjoyed this episode or if you found it to be helpful in any way, please consider following us and sharing this episode on all podcast platforms or on YouTube. Hit the like button, share this episode with other fathers, and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave us a comment or suggestions of topics you would like us to explore. Until then, this is your father's rights advocate, Attorney Hughes.